House Republicans want to expel Congressman Matt Gaetz. Jason Smith is with us. He's the chair of the powerful House Ways and Means Committee. Congressman, Gaetz is involved in an ethics investigation. He says McCarthy has not given him much support. It seems like his opposition to the Speaker is personal. I don't think you should be basing these kind of things on personal disputes.
Our number one priority as members of Congress should be delivering for the Americans who are struggling, Stuart, to put food on their table, clothes on their backs, and gasoline in their cars. Why there's an open border that's bringing in fentanyl that's killing Americans every day. That is what the American people are focused on. They don't need to worry about personal differences between one member of Congress and another. So I hope my colleagues just wake up and stop wasting time and deliver for the American people.
Was there any win in this shambolic behavior over the weekend? Was there any win for Republicans at all?
Absolutely, Stuart. When you look at it, the House of Representatives controlled the day. In fact, we made the Senate to support our legislation, which our legislation funded government for the next 45 days, and it included disaster assistance for the numerous areas across the country that has faced horrible disasters. During that time frame, we have to finish our work, and that is the continuation of the appropriations process. The House of Representatives has already funded more than 70% of government. The Senate has not even passed one appropriations bills. Let's pass all 12 of them and then go to conference and make the final results.
You have to have Democrat support for this. You can't pass these spending bills because the hard right, the holdouts, call them what you like, they're not going to let you.
Well, the far right are the ones that saying, let's pass every one of the individual spending bills. We have passed 4 of them. One of them was defeated, so we've had 5 on the floor. We're going to continue to bring up a couple more spending bills this week, and we're going to continue to work through the process. We've had hundreds of amendments on these appropriations process, but we have passed more than 70% of appropriations of the discretionary spending.
What happens on November the 17th? That's the 45-day period. Will we see exactly the same thing all over again?
Hopefully we'll have all 12 of these appropriations bills through the House, and the Senate will pass their counterparts, and we'll be in conference so we can get to a final result. That's how the legislative process is supposed to work. We'll see what happens. But
I don't mean to push too hard, Congressman, but you see how frustrated people are when this kind of thing happens. And when they move to push aside the Speaker after, people are really frustrated by this. You're putting a bright face on it, and I understand, but I got to tell you, the mood out there is rough.
Well, Stuart, I'll tell you, I'm extremely frustrated, so I'm glad you see that I seem like I'm okay. But the fact that one of my colleagues wants to waste time with a motion to vacate with the Speaker of the House, the only way a motion to vacate can ever be successful is if Matt Gaetz joins in with 200-plus Democrats. It's the Democrats' motion to vacate because they want to stop the policies that we are moving forward. They want to stop the investigations. They don't want the American people to see what's going on with the president's business dealings with his son. Like the Speaker just said, the president has had more dinners with Hunter Biden's business associates and business dealings than he has even went to the border.
That is true, sir. One more for you. Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is defending Congressman Jamal Bowman after he pulled a fire alarm during the spending vote. Listen to AOC. Roll it.
They're filing a motion to expel a member who, in a moment of panic, was trying to escape a vestibule. Give me a break. And so the idea that there is somehow any kind of equivalence to someone who is actively trying to clear up a situation that he himself admits he's embarrassed. He released a statement last night. He apologized.
Well, Congressman, I'd like to see Bowman's phone records. Did the minority leader in the House tell him to delay the vote? Go flip that switch? I'd love to know.
It's quite embarrassing, Stuart, that AOC would possibly make that statement. We know very well that he pulled that fire alarm on purpose. The Democrats all planned to obstruct and to slow down the process. We had a vote on the floor that the Democrats made, a motion to adjourn 12 hours before government funding was going to expire because they didn't want the Republicans to bring up the continuing resolution to keep government open for 47 days. The reason why they didn't want us to is because they wanted the Ukraine funding more than the funding to secure our southern border. The fact that AOC is defending him whenever he obstructed the official proceedings of Congress, much like other people that are still sitting in prison, they're so used to a two-tier legal system that they think that even members of Congress should be treated that way as well.
Congressman, we will leave it right there. Jason Smith, always a pleasure, and thanks for being with us this morning, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you.